All right, lads and lasses, welcome along. It's Opens Tuesday. Hot topic: 5 second rule. Do you know, it's not just there for food, is it? Oh, I've dropped my food on the floor. Oh, hey, 5 seconds. Hey, there's a lot more to it than that. When you're doing reporting and you're getting reports and data out there, you've got about 5 seconds to convince your audience of what it is you want them to do. What's the core point? What's the reason behind that report? Now, if you don't get it right in that 5 seconds, I can almost guarantee you that some senior manager is going to decide, oh, I know exactly what this means. This shows blah, blah, blah. It shows all sports, whatever it is I've been saying. I need the end. Your stuff's rubbish. So, I haven't been there enough times. Eh, avoid it like the plague, right? Clarity of vision is everything, yeah? So, to start off with, right? Tell you what, let's get rid of my face and then we can get on with the rest of this deck, right? So to start off with, you've got two types of data presentation. You've got kind of performance ones, which is like the most, that's the bread and butter for business, isn't it? Me KPIs, me trends, all that sort of thing. And they're meant to be stable. So you'll prepare, you'll set up a dashboard or report structure, and that'll then run for at least 12 months, probably. Yeah. Then you've got infographics. Right? I hate infographics. It's my personal view, mind, right? To me, infographics are propaganda, right? There's no other way of putting it. You're telling a story to elicit a specific set of actions, right? Very much point of time. Like today, I noticed that everyone who died had drunk water, so water must be bad. Let's ban water, right? And I can write you a report that shows that. Yeah, right. Now, you've kind of got the point, haven't you? So the main reason that we're going to be, or the main thing we're going to be looking at today is really performance. So for a performance, have a look, you've kind of got that 5 seconds, man. Oh, me Wheaties are on the floor. Shocking. Quickly, if I scoop them back in my bowl in 5 seconds, they'll be fine, yeah? It's the same with this. You've got 5 seconds to get your message out there. Otherwise, your audience is going to decide what your message is and what you're actually getting at. So, getting reports built, getting them nice and clear and concise, is really important. All right. Tell you what, let's get over into Power BI. See what we mean, eh? All right. So here's one New York data set. Yeah, nothing too difficult in it, right? But if you remember, 5 seconds. I've got 5 seconds to convince the world that I know what I'm talking about and that this is clear and easy to understand. So, what are people going to see when they look at this? Right. So, first off, and tell you what, I want to stop talking, and what I'll do is I'll pick a different page. Yeah, we'll swap reports, and I'll give you 5 seconds on me watch. All right. Right, let's go back to home. Tell you what, let's get the Newcastle food hygiene stuff. Right? 5 seconds starts now. 2, 3, 4. Right, time. So, what did you see? What were you getting at when you looked at this? Now, this is a deliberately pretty simple data set. So, what you'll see is the map. So, looking at the map, right? What's the map telling us? What does it mean? A lot of pink on there. What does that mean? We can see we've got a count of businesses. So, what you can see straight away, I hope, is that if I was going to present this as something, and there might be, this could be a core report part, Yeah, and I know. I mean, I was looking at this. This is going to be part of a big piece of work that Geordie Consulting will be doing. So you could look at this. You could say, right, most of them are at five. So most places have got five. See, we've got some that are awaiting inspection. We've got some that are exempt. Maybe something we need to understand about exempt. You know, but ultimately, I've got a lot of pink, and we can see there. You might say, would that be better as a donut chart or something like that, a tree map, something that's going to actually show the scales, in terms of the as a percentage of the whole. Those are the kinds of things that you want to be thinking through. So I was going back to a New York one, which is a bit better for doing this, if I can remember where it is. This one, I kind of did a little bit more in terms of building a report structure up. So the main things that you've got, you can see we've got years, and I've used a different color for each year. So we can do that. We can drive those through and understand what those are. Part of it, though, would be to start going through understanding your colors. So getting consistency of color is really important. Realistically, we should build a different color for the for each of these. So, and then we should have the same color overlaid on the map so that you can clearly see the difference between the different boroughs. Right? You might decide to do other stuff in terms of building a proper KPI set. So, is there a KPI set that we would have around inspection companies or testing companies or anything else like that? And if you remember, I mean, this is going way back. This one, isn't it? We can right click on here. Oh, something's happening in Roosevelt Island. Get a location report, and we can then see some more information about it. Right now, these next level down report, it's less important to make sure that these have that 5 seconds viewpoint to them. The core piece is around that front page of your report, that golden level. If that's not driving a consistent set of actions and the right outcomes that you want to see in your business, you need to really think hard about what you're producing. Right? So, I guess what there's not really much else, is there? I mean, in terms of it, right, how you present your data and what you're looking to present is really key. A part of what we have to do as data professionals is to make sure that the reports that are produced are actually based on what's been requested. So it's not good enough to just say, well, in the case of this, we were asked to look and see, right, what's going on with inspections of like the water towers in New York over time. So we could look and we could be able to pick. We could say, well, I'm interested in a particular time frame, like that. And that time frame would then be filtered down and we could see, oh, there's a big dot there. Drill in and look at what's happening. So it's all tied together. And the idea is that reports and data, it needs to be accessible. And we need to be making sure that we're not presenting charts and tables and complex aggregations of things that no one can understand except for me or you as the data professional who've built it. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is it's one of the biggest things I hear from people coming from an Excel background. And I'm sorry, I love Excel, but people do have a habit of just going, and they will build these monster charts. And it's to do with the structures, it's to do with the way in Excel you're going from pivot table to pivot table to pivot table to then have a chart based on the output of it. Right. And suddenly you've ended up having to, well, we'll squeeze all these things together so that they all work in one chart, and you have one chart. And there's the demo that I've done in the past, isn't there? We were looking at weather patterns. In fact, I tell you what, right? Let me pause here and I'll find it and I'll open it. We'll come back here. Right. Ta-da! As if by magic. Yeah, magic of television. Right. I mean, this is kind of a classic, isn't it? Right. And I mean, this is from a website. Done a video on this earlier, right? And it's very similar, right? This 5 second rule. This is exactly what we're getting at. Now, in the case of this, they've built a single chart to show Sapporo climate change, or not climate change, just annual climate, nothing like that. It takes a long time to look at it, though, doesn't it? You're looking at it, and it's like, oh, well, oh, right. Doing this in Power BI, we're able to split it up. And I think that's one of the things that you need to be aware of, that just because you used to do it in one big chart doesn't mean it's still the right way to do it. And you need to make sure that your data is accessible. So for any business, you can have different areas people are keen on, that they want to look at, they want to see. So you're going to end up wanting to be thinking of your reports as multi-dimensional entities. So you'll have your top level, and then that'll go down, and then that'll go down, and that'll go down, and they go down and they go down. And over time, it all starts to make a lot more sense. So don't be tempted to think of Power BI as an Excel replacement, that we have to do everything in one chart and that's the only way to do it. Power BI is about building a large scale data model. And then from that large data model, you can produce multiple layers, multiple reports, go into lots of different areas of your business. And there's some things coming through, and you're looking, we're hearing more and more each month about more enterprise ready features that are going to help make it easier for multiple groups of people to consume data from the same data model. And that's huge, because that means there's a source of truth. One report, one data model is producing all your reports. And it all starts by moving away from that. So enjoy the rest of your week, right? I'm going to have a great week. Take care. Keep looking after yourselves. See you at the weekend. Ta-da.